The unsurpassed, penetrating, and perfect truth is seldom met with, even in 100,000 myriakalpas. Now we can see and hear it. We can remember and accept it. I vow to make the Buddha's truth one with myself. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. I've been reading the Reverend Master Jiyu's, I can't remember what book it is. Anyway, one of her books, one of the roars on the Four Wisdoms, and decided that today would be a good day for me to explore and offer to you some of the things that I have found from her readings and my own reflections on benevolence. And it's not just benevolence, but it's benevolence of the universe. And I think it's an appropriate title in these times to look at that concept, that idea of the benevolence of the universe, because I think we kind of keep sliding into, you must be kidding me. And I find that that is our task, is to see things in a little bit different light, partly because if we slide into, you must be kidding me, it really can be a downward spiral that doesn't really help ourselves out or others as well. And that being said, that's not the easiest task in the world. To say it is one thing, but to actually believe that we don't have to go that way. Let's see here. So what I did is I perused my own mind with the scriptures, and I thought, well, what does that mean, the benevolence of the universe? And I couldn't cough up anything that was an easy answer, but what I did find was something that I have taken refuge in because it works for me. First of all, benevolence is defined as an act of kindness or disposed to do good marked by or suggestive of goodwill. So it has good in it and kindness. And what I found, two things. One is the benevolence of the universe to me means that the Dharma is always available. I don't care where you are, who you are, the Dharma is always available, and I find that that is the benevolence of the universe. You can't come up with any place that benevolence does not exist. That Dharma that we can practice does not exist. And it doesn't have to be couched in the form of the word Dharma, but it can just be reaching out to somebody. All kinds of things do exist, always, everywhere, for all of us. And I find that comforting, especially just in my own life when I find myself in a pickle and I don't know what to do. It's always available, but it's up to me to ask, what is good to do? What's the Dharma right here? And I want to hear it because I know that other pathways are not all that great. In other words, just griping, complaining, all the usual stuff. They're fine, and it's not pushing that away. It's saying, what can I do within these conditions that are uncomfortable? What can I do in the Dharma? It's not putting my own self ideas onto that. What can I do here? And what I find is a kind of a way to find my way into that is, I don't know if it's maybe my particular characteristic, but I do find myself in situations a lot where I haven't a clue what to do. And that for me is the time to ask the universe for help. And what I mean by that is help. What is the Dharma I'm supposed to be learning here? What is the Dharma I can open to in this particular moment where I do not know what to do? And the second thing is, in terms of universal benevolence, is, and I couched the word loving kindness in that same vein of it's always available. And loving kindness to me, I think you mentioned it, Reverend Master Man, it starts with ourselves. And I find that that is a really good teaching, which is always, again, available. And I find that it isn't like a warm, fuzzy thing like, oh, you're so wonderful. It isn't that kind of thing where there is compassion there, but there's also, I find, looking at what I'm doing in a way that is honest and not pushing away from that, but just saying, it's okay. It's all right. Because I find this idea of trying to be perfect is a lost cause, and it's exhausting, and it's impossible. But if I can just say, the loving kindness is an acceptance, it's a gentleness just to not be so hard on myself. And I don't know if that's kind of something we all do or not. I really don't know, but I can do that. And I don't want to do it anymore because I don't find that helpful. It doesn't help myself out that much, and it isn't beneficial to other people as well. And that's a tall order in a way, to be honest with ourselves, to look at ourselves and see what it is that we find difficult and unacceptable. And that is a tall order. And I think it takes time to say that you don't want to go down the road anymore of things that you find unacceptable. It's not that it's unacceptable initially, it's just that we compound that so much that it becomes fraught and it creates a lot of suffering for ourselves. Do we really need to do that? And I'm not convinced that it's all that necessary. Okay. So I have a story, and that is, first of all, Reverend Master Jiyu in Roar 2 does talk about the road. If you probably, those of you who have read that, remember her description of how the road is acting in a benevolent way by being a road. And that being said, you have potholes in the road, and you have the dogs pooing and peeing on the road, and whoever knows what else. And that is the benevolence that she was talking about, to be grateful for the road and to respect that it's just not an easy path to be benevolent. In my story alone, this is the road. And that's out here in Summit Drive. I walk on the road, and that has roads. So when you're walking and not driving, you see all kinds of things you don't see when you're driving. So the road is really cracked. It's in pretty bad shape, and it's falling apart here and there. And the little yellow strip that's in the center is disintegrating, and it's been, the snowplows have been pushed it to a side. So it's really going through a lot. I like walking on the road because it helps me out. It helps me exercise my hip, and it also gives me a chance to walk and let go of all the stuff that I've been carrying throughout the day. In other words, I can let my list of things to do just set it aside for 20 minutes or so. And I find that a helpful thing to do. So I'm grateful for that road. I'm also grateful for the chance to walk on a road, because it's a very different way of experiencing a road. And what I have done is I've done this enough that I have found that I not only walk on the road, but I also have decided that I want to pick up some of the stuff that's tossed out, because people toss things out all the time. So I have been taken to, now and then, not making a big deal of it, taking my trash bag and going along the road and picking this stuff up. Now, I'm not trying to be good or goody two-shoes. That's not the thing. It's more just, something I want to do, and I don't make a big deal out of it. I'm not trying to, if somebody drives by in a truck and throws a beer can out of the road, I'm not going to go, wah, 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 wah. That's not what I'm up to. I actually am quite interested in now. I've done it so much, what is on the road. And every once in a while I find things that are, I found a cigarette lighter the other day, and it worked. And I thought, I brought it back. We have it underneath the altar now. It's just so it's become, I don't want to say anything about benevolence because I'm not trying to do anything, but I want others who walk on the road, and there are other people that do walk on the road, to have a nice place to go, myself included. So I do that. But I do get into stories sometimes, like there was a windshield wiper that was completely mangled, and the rubber was off of it, and it was looking like somebody just said, I can't stand this any longer, and threw it to somehow. So there's stories that go on, and those are, it's entertaining, and I offered that person merit. I have no idea if what I came up with was true or not, but it is interesting to me, and I find it, I'm really grateful for it. It's good stuff for me, good medicine. Let's see here. Oh, I've got the wrong page. That doesn't help. Here. Yeah. Okay. Now, I wanted to also talk about a little bit more than just the benevolence of the universe, but how is it that we, in our acts of trying to benefit self and others, how do we go about doing that? What is it that we can do to help ourselves out? And the thing I want to couch it into is that we're human beings and we do the best we can, and like I said, we're not going for perfection, but we do make the effort to help and benefit others. So the humanness is a factor of our efforts. It's not a bad thing, but I think it's more like a reality check. We do the very best we can to help others, but it doesn't always work out the way we want. All kinds of scenarios, we get to the situation and we say the wrong words, I don't know, all these kinds of things, but it's not trying to say we should stop doing that, because it's really important to do. I know that. And I have no intention of not doing that. So. I can get all the way there. So the action that we can do to help others does benefit both ourselves and others. There's no getting around that. That's one of the things I continually ran across in the scriptures that I kept reading about this very topic. And what I find is that we can change our attitude about helping others in a certain way that we just simply open to what's good to do here, and to slow down and allow the space, and it's allowing things to compassionately keep flowing in our lives. Does that make sense? So instead of closing down with, rah, 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 that is a closed mind or being angry, but opening up and saying, well, what is good to do here, but what is that flowing compassion? What obstacles am I putting in the way that is going to benefit? We don't want such that I want to benefit self and other. And what are the things that can be looked at in that light that I could let go of and perhaps find something that's more skillful? And it can be a range of things. It can be not do anything, put it on the back burner. It can be, I don't know, talk to a friend. All kinds of things can crop up in that way. But it's a good way to go. And it makes us opened up a bit, which isn't a bad thing, and also to see that the compassion is flowing. It's coming and going, and we are a part of it. And we can cultivate that. So I have another story. These things are my stories. I couldn't find anything else because I confess what I did, and stories don't always have this aspect to it, but I seem to be fine with that. So this was another thing. It was just doing the best I could, and what happened. So I was up in the building where I worked, the Dharma house, and I had a situation I needed to deal with. Okay, and I didn't know what to do. Kind of my usual. I don't know what to do. So I said, pure and simple. So I just walked outside, walked in kind of to the forest, and I thought, well, I'm going to walk outside and see if there's a sign so I can figure out what to do. The universe has a good sense of humor. Well, nothing happened. I was just standing there going, hey, wait a minute. And then I realized that I was the one that could do something. And then I thought, yeah, what a thought. I mean, I'm sorry I'm so dense, but it was, yeah, I can do that. It's not a big deal. So what I did, I made that decision, and then I said, I don't want to do that. And then I wanted to do it enough that I just let that go. I had to let that go because I didn't want that to flavor my action. And I just sat with it for a little bit of time and was able to not use that resistance of, I don't want to do that, to not play a part in what I was going to do, because it did involve another monk, and I didn't want to have that flavor be with what I did. So I let it go, and guess what? It wasn't a big deal. I actually enjoyed it a bit. And then I came away, and the situation was, I dealt with it and everything. It wasn't like it all was rosy, but, we took the first step. And I came back, and what I learned from that is that by doing what I did, that I was, the aftermath was clean. It was cleaner. I wasn't dragging around the baggage of, I didn't want to do that, or, whatever. So it was just a clean act. I dropped it and then got on with other things. And that was a good thing to learn. So that's something I will keep in mind and do my best to carry on with that. So those two thoughts, the benefiting of self and other is really an important point, and the universe is benevolence is also something that is important. Now the human side too, I found a poem by Dogen, who's one of our esteemed ancestors in the 1200s, and he wrote a book of poetry which I like a lot. And I just want to, a lot of us have read or tried to read the Shobo Genzo, or his teaching, and have stumbled on it because it's very, I don't know what you all think, but it is kind of hard to understand, highfalutin, all that, very profound. Yes, it is. And I found two poems that I really like about his humanness. He says, long night, long as the long tail of the pheasant, the light of dawn breaking through. That's it. So in other words, it wasn't like he was just all breaking through to the dawn, but he had a long night, long as, if you've ever seen a pheasant, they have pretty long tails. So I don't know what that long night was, if he was sick or if it was literally not sleeping that night, or the night could be dark as in a difficult thing that was difficult for him to work through. But he broke through it. So he sat still, and he didn't say anything, there was, it wasn't anything more than him being a human being. And that's what I like a lot. The other poem that I really like too is, he was in retreat in a thatched grass hut. So it was way up in the forest where it was snowing and dark, and he wrote some good poems there. This one says, when he first got there, what can I accomplish? Although not yet a Buddha, let my priest's body be the raft to carry sentient beings to the other shore. In other words, from a narrow view or selfish view to more of a universal view. And I thought, isn't that a very true thing to say, and humble? It wasn't like he had any pretense of being anything special, and I appreciate that very much from him. And just that offering and that vow that I do want to help people out. And what can I accomplish? I'm not a Buddha. I'm not perfect. Who am I to think that I can do these things? But at the same time, to make that vow that I will do my best to do that. And then I have things that I use throughout my day just to help me get out. And one of them is something, it's from Samantabhadra, come to think of it. Oh no, it isn't. It's from something, Manjusri. And it says, I lift up my heart and rejoice in all merit. I rejoice in the merit of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions, of solitary realizers, Shravakas still in training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. I like that. So you have the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, yes, for inspiration, but all of us have merit, and we can offer merit to that and know that that is happening. And there's something comforting about knowing that we're not, each and every one of us is not alone trying to do this by ourselves, but we're trying to do it all together in the light of the universe, and recognizing that all ordinary beings, all of us, the merit of the universe is available to us, and we can take refuge in that by offering merit. So I think I'll quit there and say I wish you well, and I want to say that I've learned an awful lot from Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, especially that statue out at Fugan. It's like a profound statue. It is incredibly full of love and wisdom, and it just reminds me over and over again, don't mess around. Get on with it. In other words, get on with your training. Time is precious. So thank you very much.